Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Kommando Cheapskate, and we are back on another episode of Cheap Shots. This series is dedicated to showing you specific tips and tricks that will save you money in the miniature wargaming hobby. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about using your box set of Kill Team Ork Kommandos in your games of Necromunda. So with these Cheap Shots, I've been focusing on Kill Team box sets and how you can use them for multiple gaming systems, specifically how to use it for both 40k as well as for Necromunda. After all, if you can use the same box set of miniatures and play multiple games with them, that is the ultimate goal, because you can have a lot of fun, play a lot of different games, and at the same time save yourself a ton of money as well, because these miniatures are not cheap, to say the least. So that's the reason why you want to do so with doing this. And the Ork Kommandos are a beautiful box set. I mean, just look at the character of these guys. This is one of the most impressive box sets that Games Workshop has came out for a while. They have like this really cool Suicide Squad / Dirty Dudson vibe with these guys, and they look really cool, and they're really neat looking sculpts. So using them in games of Necromunda would be awesome, because they just kind of fit that funky kind of junkyard style salvaged look, which looks really impressive, post-apocalyptic style. So that's the reason why I want to talk about this, using this box set for both gaming systems, because if you do so, it could be a lot of fun doing so. So today with this video, what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of things. First of all, we're going to talk about, narratively speaking, how this Kill Team could fit in the Underhive in terms of the narrative of that system. We're also going to be talking about the play style that this gang actually has, and we'll talk about exactly how you are going to build this gang with a 2,000 point roster, so that way you can start playing in larger campaign settings of the Aranthian Succession, or just in normal sessions of Necromunda as well. And then of course, the last we're going to talk about, we're going to be talking about the gang overview and showing you exactly how you would use this gang on the tabletop and how you basically can dominate using Ork Kommandos to do so. And the last thing we'll do, of course, is give our overall conclusion of this box set and its use in Necromunda as well. Now, because this video will be a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put a description down below. I'll put timestamps in the description box, so you just click to whatever part that interests you the most in this video, and that way you can navigate to the part that you want to see. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about using Ork Kommandos in your games of Necromunda. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about narratively how this is going to work, okay? Because unfortunately, people aren't going to sometimes jive with the idea that you're actually using 40k miniatures in games of Necromunda. I don't know why that would be the case, since it's exactly the same timeline and setting, but you know, more's the pity. So the narrative for this is very simple. This is a gang of orc bounty hunters. And that's all that needs to be said about that. Orcs are extremely uncomplicated when it comes to their motivations to do anything. Most of the time, they're just looking for a good fight, and if you can get in a good fight and get paid by doing so at the same time, why wouldn't you do it? Now, granted, you might be thinking, well, Commander Cheapskate, they're orcs in the Underhive of Necromunda. I don't know if you know this or not, but Necromunda is not exactly a very legalese place that actually follows the rules and regulations of the Imperium. I mean, all their clans use gangs to get things done, for God's sake. So because of that, working with orcs is not going to be a big thing about that. So, narratively speaking, they're orc bounty hunters. That's all you have to say about that. Now, when it comes to playstyle using Kommandos, and the list I'm going to present to you guys here in a second, just do the most orc thing possible, which is to be very aggressive, get stuck in, and get in close quarters combat. That's pretty much what orcs do best. They just kind of charge as quickly as they can across the battlefield, get within striking distance of their opponents, and just hammer away in an undisciplined mob of violence and death. And that's exactly what orcs do. So this list is not for the conscious of players out there. If you're one of those kind of players like to stay back and like shoot at your enemies and do like suppression, that kind of thing, this is not the list for you. This is for those people who want to get up in your face, directly into your opponent, and put a chain axe through them, and you know, win the day for your games in Necromunda. So the thing about this gang is that this gang is not very what's the word I'm looking for? Not very finesse in the way that they do things. They're not very subtle at all. Sometimes, I'm just going to go out there and say this, sometimes the best approach to a problem is a direct approach, and this gang exemplifies that philosophy when playing games of Necromunda with Ork Kommandos. So now that we're done talking about the narrative and talking about the play style of this gang, let's go and talk about exactly what your list is going to look like. Alright, so this is going to be your Ork Kommandos list. It is a 2,000 point list, and it's going to be a Venator gang, and this 2,000 point list is for those players who want to actually go in the Aranthian Succession at 2,000 points. Now, of course, you can obviously do less if you want to, but you're going to have to move some things around. Now, this Venator gang, of course, will have its choice of primary and secondary skills. So the two primary skills for this gang are going to be combat and ferocity, because they're orcs, and their secondary skills will be shooting and savant, because they're a little bit smarter than average orcs. So let's go and talk about exactly what your list consists of. Your Commando Knob is going to be your hunt leader in this gang. It's going to cost you 260 points. He's going to have a close combat stats for that higher strength and weapon skill, armor under student mesh armor for a 4 armor save. You equip this guy with an auto pistol with a hand flamer combo pistol with man stopper rounds. That way you have strength 4 shooting attacks, as well as strength 3 template attacks, and this is going to want to motivate you to get into close combat. He's also going to be packing a servo claw because that's what the miniature has, and plus it just looks cool. And you're also giving commanding presence so that he has larger group activations. After that, your 2 champions. Your first one's going to be your Commando Burner Boy. He's going to cost you 255 credits. This fighter's going to have, once again, close combat stats. He's going to have armored undersuit as well as mesh armor for that 4-up armor save, as well as auto gun / flamer combo weapon. That way they can shoot with the auto gun at medium to close range, and of course they want that strength 4 flamer to go off as well. You give this guy an auto pistol with man stopper rounds for backup weapon as well as a close combat attack, and you give him the nerves of steel, so that way all he has to do is pass a cool test to escape pinning, because he's going to be shot at a lot by our opponents. Your second champion is going to be your Commando Breacher Boy. He's going to cost you 280 credits. This guy's got close combat stats as well, with armored undersuit and mesh armor for that 4-up armor save. He's going to have a heavy rock cutter for his weapons, because why not? And he's also going to have an auto pistol with man stopper rounds as a backup weapon and for close range shooting, and you give him the rain of blow skills. That way you can use that heavy rock cutter as a simple action to fight. Now, after that, you're going to have your first hunter, which will be your Commando Rocket Boy. He's going to cost you 175 credits. He's got close combat stats with armored undersuit as well as mesh armor for that 4-up armor save, and a grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades, as well as auto pistol with man stopper rounds for a backup weapon. So this guy will be lobbing suppression using frag grenades and crack grenades to do so. I highly suggest you get this guy smoke grenades as soon as possible when the time comes, so that way you can make a smoke screen for your gang. Now, your next hunter is going to be your Daka Boy. It's going to cost you 170 credits. This guy's got close combat stats as well as mesh armor with a bolt gun. He's also got an auto pistol with man stopper rounds for backup weapon as well as frag grenades. This guy's going to be laying down some heavy suppression fire as well. The only problem, of course, is that he does have a bolt gun, which means you might want to invest in some Savant skills to help with those ammo rolls. I would highly suggest getting ammo jacks, because you could definitely use the bomb squig as well as your little garrote sniper guy to actually be your ammo jacks in your games if you want. Now, from there, of course, you're going to have your next commando, which is going to be your Commando Sniper Boy. He's going to be 100, so it costs you 175 credits. He's got close combat stats as well as mesh armor and mesh armor for that 5-up armor save. He doesn't have armor undersuit though, but he does have an auto gun with a gun shroud and a telescopic sight, so that way you get bonuses for long range shooting, and it's also suppressed as well. You're also giving him auto pistol with man stopper rounds for backup weapon as well as frag grenades. Your next fighter is going to be your Comms Boy. He's going to be 100, so it costs you 165 credits. He has close combat stats with mesh armor as well as an armored undersuit for that 4-up armor save. He's going to have a last pistol with a hotshot last pack attached to it for that strength 4 attack as well as a sword, and he's going to have blasting charges. And then your Slasher Boy is your next hunter. It's going to cost you 140 credits. You're going to have close combat stats as well as an armored undersuit with mesh armor for that 4-up armor save. You're going to equip this guy with twin swords as well as blasting charges. And then lastly, your last 2 commandos, Commando Boy number 1 and 2, will also be hunters. They'll be equipped exactly the same at 160 credits apiece. Both will have close combat stats, armored undersuits with mesh armors for that 4-up armor save, auto pistol man stopper rounds for their primary shooting, as well as axes for their backup weapons, and frag grenades as well. And then last year, the last 50 credits are going to be for Rogue Doc, because you're going to need that for this gang as well. Now, this whole gang does have the close combat stat lines, so their the weapon skill as well as their attacks and strength and toughness are going to be quite good, but their ballistic skill is not going to be that great with a 5+ base. But these guys are all armed with auto weapons, which means they get bonuses in close range shooting. So like I've said before, this is a close quarters combat list. Get them stuck in so that way they can take advantage of those short range shooting modifiers. Their gang overview is going to consist of 2 assault fire teams with 1 support fire team. Your assault fire team number 1 is going to consist of your Knob, your Rocket Boy, Commando Boy number 1 and 2. Your assault fire team is going to consist of your Breacher Boy, your Comms Boy, and your Slasher Boy. And then your support fire team consists of your Burner Boy, your Sniper Boy, and your Daka Boy. So now that we're done talking about the contents of this list, let's go and talk about exactly how you'll be using it on the tabletop. Alright, so let's go over the gang overview for using Ork Kommandos in your games of Necromunda. So as you can see here, we have a little bit of strip map here that I've made on a presentation program. The hexes here represent your enemy fire teams, and down below are your fire teams for your gang. So like I said before, you have 3 fire teams in this gang. Assault fire team number 1 is represented by this block here that has your Knob, your Commando Boy number 2, Commando Boy number 1, as well as your Rocket Boy. And then you have your support fire team here in the middle. That's going to consist of your Burner Boy, as well as your Sniper Boy, as well as your Daka Boy. And then assault fire team number 2 is going to have your Breacher Boy here, your Comms Boy here, as well as your Slasher Boy here. Now, you are playing Orcs, and these guys do have the close combat stat lines from the Venator gang list, and so because their ballistic skill is not all that great, but the reason why you're taking is because you want that high strength and toughness and good weapon skill, which of course Orcs are all about. And playing this gang is pretty much just the most direct approach is usually the best approach. Just keep things very simple. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off with your support fire team. What your support fire team is going to do is it's going to lay down suppressive fire directly on your enemy's fire team using the souped up, basically the auto gun with the telescopic sight, as well as your gun suppressor, as well as the bolt gun from the Daka Boy, as well as the auto gun with the flamer from the Burner Boy. Now he's not going to use the flamer template too much, but you are going to put some direct fire directly on your enemies to kind of suppress them. Now while that's happening, your assault fire teams, number 1 and 2, will then move up the flanks like this, getting into an advantageous position to where they could actually start doing some damage. What's going to happen is that your knob, of course, is going to actually start using things like your rocket boy. He's going to be moving along here and laying suppressive fire down with those grenade launchers of his, trying to snare enemy in crossfires. Meanwhile, Commando Boy number 1 and Commando Boy number 2 will then move out with your knob and supports to activate these guys with activations, where they will then proceed to open fire with their flamer weapons from the knob, as well as the blasting explosives from your Commando Boys, as well directly into your enemy, and then assaulting through and destroying anybody's there. Meanwhile, the assault fire team number 2 does exactly the same thing. Breacher Boy number 2, your Breacher Boy, as well as your Comms Boy, as well as your Slasher Boy, will then move up online. They'll throw grenades and blasting charges directly at your enemy to suppress them, and then of course they will also follow through and assault forward through the objective as well. Now while this is all of course taking place, your support fire team then moves up as well and then also begins their assault. These guys are originally supposed to be used for long range shooting, but they could also fight if they have to. Primarily with your Burner Boy moving up forward, taking point, setting guys on fire with their flaming attacks, and then support up lastly by your Sniper Boy, as well as your Daka Boy, that kind of moves in and finishes off whoever's going through it. So just catching your enemy in a 3-way crossfire, fooling your enemy from the flanks, and also charging forward. Very simple, very basic battle system, and that's what you're going to do. You destroy your enemy, catch them directly in a crossfire, and assault through and finish them off in close combat. A very simple approach for a gang, but sometimes simple is best. So in conclusion, the Kommandos box set is an excellent box set of miniatures. I think it's some of the coolest sculpts that Games Workshop has come up with in a real long time. I like this kind of vibe that they have, like this kind of motley crew, special forces-esque, but like post-apocalyptic special forces, I guess you would call it. I kind of like that vibe that they have. They have gas masks and knives, and they're strapped with explosives. Like I said, full of really excellent character on these sculpts. They're absolutely amazing. So if you can use these box set miniatures from beyond just Kill Team, that'd be fantastic. And like I said before, they make perfect Venators in my opinion, because the Ork Bounty Hunter aspect of it sounds really cool. Or you could use them as Outcast Gang if you want to. I know there's one YouTuber out there who actually uses Ork miniatures as Goliaths, so you can do that as well if you want. Something you might want to think about. Another thing you might want to think about too is making these guys chaos corrupted, because orcs worship the gods of Gork and Mork, and Gork is brutal but cunning, while Mork is cunning yet brutal. And so because of that, you could actually play them off as chaos gods. So like for example, a Mork gang could be worshipping Zneech and not realizing it, so that way they can get those long range shooting bonuses, while another gang who thinks is worshipping Gork is actually worshipping Khorne and getting those buffs that are close combat. So something you might want to keep in mind about that. And plus, if you get any chaos spawns, you could just use troll miniatures as your chaos spawn, which would be kind of cool too. Anyways, like I said before, the whole objective of this series is to show you how you can use the same box set of miniatures from multiple gaming systems, and you can definitely do this as a box set, have a lot of fun doing it, and more importantly, save a lot of money at the exact same time. So there you guys have it. That's good to do for this one. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blog.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good to you guys. I will catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.